Construction is back, and I'm proud to give a lift to the hard-working men and women building our communities. I'm Doc Bailey of Doc Bailey Cranes and Equipment, a 25-year industry veteran providing cranes and bucket trucks. We are always reliable, always confident, and if there's a problem, we'll never leave you hanging. We service everything we rent and provide some of the best operators. So call Doc Bailey, 888-DOC-BAILEY or 888-DOCBAILEY.com.
Hi, welcome to Toolin Around. I recently had a conversation with a sport bike rider, and it was, typical in that the sport bike rider, young guy, bulletproof, probably in his 20s, full face helmet, all color matched to his bike and all this business. And he's looking at this rattle trap I'm sitting on, and he just can't understand why anybody would want to sit on this thing, let alone ride it, right? And I know what's coming, so, I'm just trying to be cordial. Hey, how you doing, man? What's going on? First thing he says, what's the 0 to 60 on this thing? So I say, about, week and a half, right? I know it's slow. I want it to be slow, right? I pride myself on having engineered my life so that I'm never in a hurry, right? No, I mean, really, that's like people pass me on the freeway constantly. I'm the guy in the far right lane going, go ahead, man, go ahead, right? He looks at me and he says, my bike does 0 to 60 and I forget what it was, but it was like 2 seconds or something like that. And I went, wow, how often do you have to do that, And of course, leaning in that testosterone-fueled way, he says, every chance I get. Oh, okay, cool. And what I never say, right, is what advanced training have you had that allows you to get the full potential out of this bike? Because I really believe that many sport bike riders, not all of them, right, but many of them get on this thing, they put the money down and they all of a sudden they have this rocket ship and they're running around, but they've had no training on it, They practice when they ride, but how much practice can you get stuck in traffic or on these bouncy roads, especially here in Hawaii, right? So I'm like, okay, Valentino Rossi, good on you, man. But I think at its core, I'll go ahead and say it, it bugs me a little, because they're comparing apples and oranges. I don't want to drag a knee. I don't want to go 0 to 60 in 1.5 seconds, I really don't. That doesn't appeal to me. I've never popped an intentional wheelie in my life. Seriously, I don't, it doesn't appeal to me, But then you get these guys that will try to compare sport bikes to choppers, and they'll bring up handling. Yeah, that thing, it looks kind of cool, I guess, but boy, when it comes to handling, what handling? Does everything I want it to do. It stops, it turns, I can keep up with most people unless they're dragging knees up in the canyons, and guess what? I don't want to do that, That's like somebody in a Jeep, right? Walking up to somebody in a Cadillac Escalade and saying, yeah, boy, that thing sure would suck in the dirt, huh? What, I bet you have to be towed out every chance you get. And the guy goes, well, actually, cup holders are more important to me than four-wheel drive. What? What are you, nuts? How can you not like what I like? How come we all can't be the same, And at its core, I think the main difference is, even though there probably are a few people that built their own sport bikes, and when I say built, I mean bought a frame and bolted stuff to it, and, created something from nothing. Many people add an extended swing arm and, do different things and, make this thing go even faster than it was when it left the factory. But chopper guys have a different mentality. Like this guy's all proud of 0 to 60 in a few seconds, and I'm happy that this thing is running. Serious. When I put this thing together and I kicked it for the first time and it started, I could have stopped right there. I can't believe it. It was like Gene Wilder in that Frankenstein movie. It's alive! It's alive! I couldn't believe it, And I think that might be the big difference, right? I mean, you look at vintage guys and people who have restored bikes, they have that same mentality, especially the guys riding bikes that are, 50-year-old or more. This thing's, what, I guess it is 50 years old, And I got nothing against sport bikes, it's just not my cup of tea. To me, I mean, they're beautiful in their own way, but they look a little like jet skis to me, And I like the mentality of wanting to go fast and turn and, all that maneuverability stuff. But what I see is a cafe racer with a bunch of plastic on it, I really like the naked bikes, and you look what happened to the cafe racers. That's what spawned the sport bike in my limited view of the world. Again, when you're a do-it-yourself guy, it's way more appealing. And especially when they say, is this your bike? Yeah, well, my bike's better than your bike. That one, they don't come out and say it exactly like that, but you get the feeling sometimes, And it's so hard not to go, really? Your bike, huh? So you making payments on this thing? Well, yeah. Well, then it's not your bike. It's somebody else's bike, and you're buying it from them. But I don't do that, right? Because, again, I think a lot of the chopper mentality is, hey, guess what? Live and let live, If I wanted to be like everybody else, I guess I could slap a credit card down someplace and, ride a bike that everybody has, right? And this includes American big twins, right? I mean, you get those guys, 99% of the people at Sturgis are riding stock bikes that they bought off a showroom floor, bought themselves a do-rag and the kit, which includes the vest and whatever. So it's not just limited to sport bikes, I don't think. And maybe I'm just trying to justify my own warped view of the world. I think the difference would be, for instance, on the sides of my tank, it says Briggs & Stratton. I have 2 decals on each side. Most people don't notice it, right? But it started when one of the gals in my club said, your bike sounds like a lawnmower. Now, were I the age of this young man who was telling me how superior sport bikes are, I might have took offense. But, being the old fart that I am, I thought it was funny. In fact, I decided to embrace it. Now in my club, people are bringing me Briggs & Stratton things so that I can bolt them on my bike. Because I know. And that, I think, is the big difference. Most chopper guys, they know that they're sitting on death traps, that it might not start, that tools are more important than a cell phone when you ride one of these things. And they're comfortable with it, right? So when somebody says, that piece of junk, look at that, that piece together Frankenstein you're on. You're lucky if it'll start. You don't defend that. You go, yeah, that's pretty much it. hold on now. I gotta say, I really like it. You know, it's fun. I think it's challenging. And if you're thinking about a chopper, ask yourself this. Do you enjoy puzzles? Because that's what this thing is, right? Especially if it's like mine, you know, some 5-wire little, you know, no turn signal, no speedometer, back to basics sort of thing, you know. That's one of the things the sport bike guy asked me. He goes, "You don't have a tachometer?" I said, "Well, basically I can tell how much this thing is revving because you redline it, you know, you hit that rev limiter and it kind of backs off. My rev limiter is, it explodes." Anyway, bottom line, I don't care what you're riding. The one having the most fun wins. And lately, I think I've been winning a lot, you know? Not that I'm trying to beat anybody, but just in a personal sort of way. And I like this bike. Thanks for watching.